Hi everyone, how are you? I hope you're all well. I hope you all had a good, fun, and safe Halloween. And I think that, it's just like I say, it's a fun holiday. The pressure of, getting all the presents and stuff just isn't there. You can just have fun. You can really have fun with it. And, you know, I say that the world is so much fun if you can see it through the eyes of a child. So, you know what? You're just kind of I spent endless hours in Walmart and Target just with the kids in a shopping cart, just going up and down the aisles, free entertainment. They got to see all the Halloween stuff. They just loved it and play with all the. I didn't let them out, you know, kept them in the cart. So, but they just loved it. I mean, and that's the thing is you just kind of have fun with it. Don't overthink it. Just have fun on Halloween. And I hope you all did. Um, So I'll need to get some new decor because my stuff is kind of still Halloweeny. But I like the Halloween stuff. And like I say, I get offended when I see these cute outfits and apparently people think they're costumes. I think they would look great for everyday wear, but well, you know, you know, some people just have no taste, right? So get yourself some tea. I'm drinking. Oh, let me see if I can get this over here without knocking everything up. So I've got my Tazo. Let me see if I can show you. It is glazed lemon loaf. So I do, for a 20 ounce, I do 2 tea packets for the glazed lemon loaf that I just love it. I do 2 tea packets and I put in French vanilla cream with it. The liquid kind, not the powdered kind. But I have powder just in case I'm ever out of cream. So I am still sick with the frickin' COVID. I did a live last week. I had 2 guests on. I had Nurse Veronica and Hot Ham Radio. And the conversation went really good. I mean, we talked so easily for 5 hours and 18 minutes. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm going, what the? Oh my God. Oh my gosh. And I couldn't believe it. And so, I cut it because I was like, well, I don't want to be one of those people who has those 25-hour marathons and you don't know what anybody's saying. But I mean, in all honesty, the conversation was just on and popping the whole time. So I hope that, it was still worth everybody's time, that they felt that it was a good time had by all there on that. Was that Friday night already? I don't know. It was the night my family went out to dinner. Um, as the twins have a birthday on the 20th, and my next son has his birthday on the 30th. On the 29th of October, they're all 3 the same age, so we've always made that the celebration day where we go out to a nice dinner and allow each of them to bring a friend if they'd like. And go to like Benihana. And I could not go because my COVID riddled ass. And I'm just disgusted because I'm going into my 8th week of sickness. And as y'all know, I was headed for surgery, so I had my pre-surgery PCR COVID test. I did not think I had COVID because why would I? Had Delta COVID so severely, and COVID-induced meningitis and COVID-induced pneumonia and long COVID syndrome that's been medicated and managed over the last, 22 months. And then I was immunized finally after I had COVID because I do things in the opposite and boosted. So why would I think I had COVID when I got sick September 5th? I mean, there were wildfires, so smoke was out. Wow, wildfires. There was smoke out. There was pollen. There was wind. The farmers were rolling their combines and stuff. So why wouldn't I think it's just allergies like every other fall, right? And so I started taking tests. So I think it must have been a couple days before the 5th because I took my first COVID at home test on the 5th. So I must have been sick for a few days, enough to have made me do it. Because I marked the dates with a Sharpie on the back of the tests that I do. Just so then, if I get a positive, I can kind of determine when it started or whatever. And say, okay, it was negative here. But I don't even think that matters because these are the tests that were government issued. I was in the line of healthcare, so I have a basic knowledge of anatomy. You have to stick that thing up your nose. And I mean, granted, I did not scrub the back of my fucking brain like that bitch did when she made me pee my pants. But, I mean, she, like I say, she held me down. She's like, you ever even fucking thought about having COVID, bitch? I mean, honestly, she scrubbed the back of my brain, checked if I had ever even thought of having COVID, and she found that apparently I did. And, so it's like, even when I got the call for surgery, I'm like, no, I am still having this because I cannot live with this pain anymore. My freaking rotator ass cuff, I have dealt with this pain for, basically freaking as long as I can remember. It's like it started hurting when I was a teenager. And I can't deal with the pain anymore. I'm done. I was holding on for surgery, so we need to still do this. And when they came back with the new provisions are you cannot have surgery until 7 weeks after a positive PCR, I was just pissed. And they say it's because of the risk of strokes. That it's not so much the sickness itself. Let me see if I can make this light up the letters more because this is fading. That was the only thing. You get something from Dollar Tree, expect it to last a while. Why is this not working? Not lighting up that. That's not a very good visual for y'all. My thing is dying. Let me see if I can get you guys something else cute to look at there. I'll set that there for a second. I mean, I felt like, I've just been sick, but not like down and out sick. So then after, I'm tired, but I kept just telling myself, look, I'm going to be sleeping when I have my surgery, and after my surgery, I'll just sleep then, because like I just want to sleep. That's all my body wants to do, is just sleep. Like, just freaking go to sleep, and like, just sleep for like next 17 freaking years or something. Like, that kind of a sleep is the way I feel like I need to have. I'll put that upside down. Isn't that cute? It's just a phase. Because, get it? There's phases of the moon cycle. So anywho, I guess I was in denial. I was denying COVID in a weird way, like not in the typical way, like politically. I was denying that I had COVID, apparently. And fear not, I don't go out into the public often. I don't like people much, and I don't think they like me either. So, it's not like I was out being a super spreader or anything. And when I go out, I wear a mask. As I've explained, I'm generally the only person wearing a mask. So I have to deal with that whole dirty look, side-eye shit all the time. But I especially did not want to get COVID, so I was the only one wearing a mask. But, when you've got, teenagers at home who are in college and that have jobs, I don't know. They're not sick. My husband has sneezed 5 times this week. So for that is technically a serious illness of him, because he does not get sick. Like, if I'm sick for like 3 weeks, he'll have it for like 4 hours, burn it off. He's just that kind of guy. I think, being in the military did that, because they built such strong immune systems from whatever they immunized them against. So now that he's sneezed 5, maybe 7 times, I gave him some NyQuil tonight. Oh, Lord. I just went to take a drink of tea, and it appears that one of my tea bags has ruptured. So now, I've been teabagged. Fuck. I have this tea between my teeth. I don't end up looking like freaking Dolly Vision, have piano teeth. Fuck. I guess maybe I'll go look for Quentin. God, how many ass clowns does it take to go out and what are they doing? They're protesting. What are they protesting? They're protesting what? They're out there harassing neighbors who have lived there. The one old lady who had the dogs in the stroller, she has been in that neighborhood, she said, for like 80 freaking years. Like that's her house, her neighborhood and everything. And then she has this bearded man troll coming out and screaming that you smell like ass, and yeah, why don't you go wipe your butt, and oh yeah, you smell like ass and your crotch stinks. And who the fuck is he? Like she's at her home. Like go home, dude. Don't you have a home? What are you doing? You could be doing the same thing that you are doing out there, making a fool out of yourself and harassing neighbors at home on your channel. Like what are you doing? And now so then he went down there with Blowhole Betty, and the two of them are just, representing white trash, in every single capacity that they can. And then the ones that they're fighting with now are coming down. So all of the enemies are coming down, and so then their allies are coming down. So it is becoming, well, dare we say, a shit show? Very much a shit show. When is it going to end? What are they doing? Like, what's their goal? They're protesting because they don't think that it's right that Leilani has not been arrested. Well, are they an arresting authority? Are they law enforcement in any capacity? Do they hold a badge of any kind? Are they able to arrest? Are they able to convict? Are they a federal officer? No, 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 nope, nope. All of the answers are no. And they're going to be no. They have no business being there. And I really caution people about supporting them. Please, please do not support them. In fact, support the clip channels. I mean, are the clip channels being problematic by promoting what they're doing? No. And here's why. In my opinion, these assholes are being funded to go out there by their support system, their subs, okay? Their subs sent them enough money to get airfare and hotel, food, and the like to go and protest Leilani not being arrested. Justice for Quentin. Don't know how they're doing it by doing that, okay? So their subs paid for them to do that. Now, every time they get on and they're showing and they're filming outside, their subs are sending them super chat. People are bringing them signs. People are bringing them food. Oh, and for Blowhole Betty, when people said they were bringing food, she said, oh yeah, make sure it's extra hot. How, if somebody's giving you food, for you to be out looking like an asshole, you have the nerve to say, make sure it's extra hot. You twat. I mean, honestly, like how, why? Not like, oh, thank you. But anyway, they'll be on for all these hours because then their subbies send them super chat, okay? And then they're running this stream, and while they're running this stream, they have advertising as well. So each time they go down to whatever headline is popular, they're making $10,000 to $30,000 each time. Why? So by watching the clips, when creators go through and they just, they probably have it on background and they're really talented and they'll pull little voice things out. They condense all of that 10 hours or whatever into 10 minutes, put it in a cute little thing with some visuals. There you go. I'm caught up on what's going on. There you go. I like to know, because I like to know who's who in the zoo. I like to know right now who who's coming for me, when they're coming for me, what history they have to the best of my ability, so that the troll attack is an understood threat. You know what I mean? It's it's sometimes taking me a little bit right now. Like I say, my troll to awesome people ratio is great. I mean, I have like what I've told you, I'm at like 3 to 5 trolls, and I've got 741 subs, so that's great. It's a very low sub count. I'm very low. So yes, I suck. Okay, I don't even have 1,000. I do suck. Okay, I'm a small creator. I don't have any talent, but you know what? I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm telling the truth, and I'm having conversations with people who are like minded, and that's all I've ever wanted. So when the trolls come for me, it sometimes takes me a second to be like, okay, what did I say that got you going where? And then I'll go and look and see, okay, is this person a creator or what? Oh, what do you know? It's a person with no subs and they just made this profile. Wonderful. Okay, so then why don't I block them? And then boom, what do you know? They're going to come back to me with their actual channel in about 10-15 minutes and say something awful. So there you go. So then I'm like, oh, okay, that's who you are. And that was your ghost or sock channel, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I saw you on this, I saw you on that, I know what you're about, you formed an alliance with this, whatever, okay? So I like to know, but to me, I still have never understood why people pay these people to do this. Like, people are sending super chat and food and sending them money to go and scream at old ladies pushing their dogs in a stroller. I mean, there is nothing that I have seen that has done anything that goes towards finding that missing child in all that they're doing out there, making that neighborhood be distressed. I mean, like I told you guys, some poor person was on hospice. They're just sitting there trying to die. And they have to call 911 because they can't find it quiet enough to die because these assholes are out there protesting and screaming at Leilani. So they have to call 911 and get an ambulance to go find a nice quiet place to die. Like, what in the hell? You know? I mean, like right now with my COVID, I like it pretty quiet. Our backyard is one that kind of connects with other yards. And somehow, the neighborhood kids decided that my backyard would be a great place to play football. Because I don't have any small children. So there's no one else playing ball. Why not use my yard to play ball? So every single day of the summer, and now into the fall, there's a bunch of kids who I don't know playing ball in my backyard. And, they have a great time. They're laughing. They're having the time of their lives. I just look at it and I'm like, I am so happy those kids aren't playing on the street, doing something stupid somewhere. They find my house safe for some reason, then I like it. Now, when they get a little loud and my headache is throbbing because of my COVID, I'll just open up the window and be like, can you guys go and play at your own house for a while? Because I'm going to go to bed. I don't feel good. And they're like, oh, okay, lady. Sure. All right. And, that's the end of that. I can handle that kind of noise. When I had Delta, they were still building the homes around us. And so it was like, the Delta headache was bad. And then when it went to full-on meningitis in my head was throbbing so bad. And I would just hear the hammering nonstop. And I was between worlds. I wasn't even making any sense. I mean, I was just so sick. And my husband, would come up to check on me and he'd find me, and I would have, crawled into a closet underneath a blanket or something somewhere, just trying to get silence in my half awake state. And he'd put me back to bed and I'd wander back up, go to the bathroom. There you go. Because the thing about COVID is that it makes snot. Its goal is to make snot, to suffocate you with your snot and cover your whole entire insides with snot. And so you have to force yourself to drink a ton of freaking fluid, and take Mucinex to keep that mucus thin. Now, when you're taking Mucinex, it dehydrates you, and you do not want to get dehydrated sinuses, and you don't want to get dehydrated when you have COVID. So, I mean, I am pushing myself to like drink 100 to 140 ounces of fluid through the 24 hours, and it's not easy. I don't want to drink or eat. Every time I try and eat, I just choke. I can't swallow because my throat sounds a little better because I started antibiotics yesterday. My fever, was 100, and it hit 104.3 over the weekend, and then stayed over 103, 102. And I was doing a little better because I started antibiotics yesterday. It went down to like 100, and then I hit 102 again today. So I just take Tylenol, Mucinex, quercetin, liposomal vitamin C, monolaurin, an aspirin to try and prevent the blood clots, an allergy supplement, an allergy pill, and then my normal medication. And then I just, like, my body doesn't want to breathe deep because then I'll start wheezing and whatnot. So I force myself every 4 to 6 hours to just go and sit myself up and just cough and cough and cough and just breathe as deeply as I can and force air in and get as much back out as I can. Then that'll just exhaust me and I'll go back to sleep. But all of these things I do because I worked in a hospital. I'm a mom of 6 kids, so I've seen a virus or two. And I, have been seriously ill in the past from having sepsis twice. So I know how to try to fight this. But somebody who, and because I've had asthma all my life, somebody who's not had asthma all of their life or hadn't had healthcare experience would absolutely not know what to do with this shit and end up in the hospital and be on a vent. My CPAP is still saving my freaking life. It's my little ventilator, and I measure my sats, and they're really good. That's the thing, is that I'm exchanging oxygen really good. My heart rate is fine. My everything is fine. It's just that fever, and so I don't know. The new model of treatment for people who have this long-term kind of viral, they don't call it pneumonia, they call it like pneumonitis, whatever, and pleurisy. Like my right lung is so freaking sore when I walk. It just hurts on the inside so bad. I had my husband just kind of beat on my lung to try to help me get some stuff up, and I mean, I was just crying and screaming because it hurts so bad. So week 8 with this shit. This is why. This is why they shut everything down in the beginning, because they probably knew that, you know what, okay, it's going to take some people this, and if people are this sick and they're calling in sick, this isn't something you get over in 3 days. This is not your typical flu. And our society used to work when you have a flu. Our American society does. Foreigners don't. They get sick, they call in sick. Especially out here in the Midwest. They have you work while you are sick. You do not call in sick. You work when you're sick. Now, COVID is changing that model a little bit, where it's saying that you need to stay home and isolate for 3 days and then wear a mask when you come back. I am fortunate right now that I do not have to work outside of the home, because I couldn't, and I would be losing all this income. This is not anything to mess with. I mean, so if you get it, take Tylenol, take Mucinex, take all the supplements that, you can. Check with your doctor, of course. The ones I suggest, of course, are quercetin, liposomal vitamin C, and take a zinc lozenge to make that vitamin C get absorbed. And monolaurin, which is coconut powder, is in a way to absorb. Vitamin D. You should take vitamin D. Now, what the protocol that I'm taking now is I'm on doxycycline. There's a protocol now. Oh, hello. There's a protocol now for spiral pneumonitis, whatever, to obviously bacterial too, because why would you give it antibiotics? But it's to take doxycycline for 100 milligrams twice a day for 10 days. That's the newest model by the National Institute of Health. And they have identified that there is this new variant that goes into the lower respiratory system and just kind of sits there. So it sounds like that's probably the variant I have, if I have to guess. They say that it combines that spike protein of Delta, and that's where the pneumonia is. And I had Delta before, so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, but everybody's saying, oh, good thing you were vaccinated, because if you weren't vaccinated, you'd be much more sick. I mean, I was much more sick the first time. I don't know. Did my immune system help? Did the vaccination help? I don't know. I'm just sick of being sick. Boo! And my boo boo wants some love, of course. Boo boo, what's the matter? What's the matter? Why are you putting your head there? Hi. Hi. You want to go? I know you want Mama to go night night, but I gotta tell some stories, okay? There's some things going on, boo boo. Yeah. Want to sit with Mom? Poor boo boo. He does not understand how to be a lap cat. He understands the purpose, the point of like sitting in the chair, and he doesn't understand that he has to wait till I'm in the chair, because now he has taken over my chair. And boo boo, go move. I gotta talk to my friends here. I know it looks weird. It looks like I was sitting here talking to myself, huh? You think your mom's a weirdo? I know you do. I know you do. Okay, how can we do this? Can you sit on me? What are you doing? You loving? Okay, can Mama get in there? Oh, I won't sit on you, I promise. Don't get scared. Oh, God, he sees my ass coming. He's like, oh! Okay, Boo. Boo, you gotta let me sit there. Can we sit next to each other? Boo. Boo, Boo. What do you want me to do? Boo, you want me to get another chair? Okay, thank you, Boo. Come here, honey. Come here. Come here. Come here. Yes. He has really sharp claws. So when he tries to jump up, he scares me and him. And now I'm holding him like a baby. I need like a cat Bjorn, like a cat carrier. I love you, Boo. Yeah, you could be Mama's baby. So, if you guys have any tips and tricks to get rid of COVID this time around, please let me know. I would love to hear anything. So, my channel, I'm going to do my disclaimer now, is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I would like to say that my channel is 80% fact and 20% fiction, but it may be 80% complete malarkey and 20% fact. You never know. That's just the way I am. A lot of this is my opinion. I try to take true crime and put it in a way that creates a teaching opportunity or different perspectives. It gives you a way of looking at things maybe in a way that others haven't. And in so doing, I hope that I'm educating you just a bit so that you can be a little bit more aware and address potentially abusive or harmful behavior in those that don't have a voice, as the ones that we have spoken of. I don't mom shame, but those that have put themselves out as public figures and become mentors, I feel that there are many people who've done that, and it's dangerous that they have become mentors, and as they have made themselves public figures, it is my right to offer critique and criticism, praise even, but an opinion nonetheless. So thank you for being here. Please subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. And the biggest thing I have to tell you is that, I am a resident of Watts Island, Watts Island. I do a lot of commentary on the Watts Island, so kind of from over there we've got this. But the basic rule of my channel is, you ready? No twats. No twats allowed. None of them. If you are a smelly, hairy twat and you come to my channel, you're in the wrong place. Go to Twats Anonymous. This is for TWs. So you might have gotten confused because TWs are truth warriors. We do fight for the truth here, but we don't like them. We don't like the twats. So if you're gonna come here and be a stupid twat and start to say all this and blah blah blah, just go to Twats Anonymous, go, because I'm telling you we have a problem here, y'all. You ready for the problem? Okay, you ready? Here goes. I'm gonna go off. I'm just absolutely gonna freaking go off because I am so freaking pissed off that basically there has been some confusion about what suitcases are used for. Okay? Suitcases are not to hold the whole entire freaking body. Okay? Suitcases, they have a bad rap as it is. They have to hold all the dirty, smelly laundry and they get thrown away and put in the ass of the airplane and everything. And, you know, they have to hear and see everything. But what they're now being used for is not acceptable. And right now, I have three terrible cases to tell you. And I'm going to tell you them in a certain order. And there's a reason why, because I'm going to tie it all up nicely. You'll see how I'm going to do it. Okay? Now, we need to unpack our luggage here in the crime community because we have 3 suitcases. We've got some luggage to unpack. 3 suitcase, high profile, terrible, disgusting murders have happened, and they've all involved suitcases. And I don't want the one that I'm going to bring up last to be forgotten. It needs to be first and foremost on everybody's community page, and I'm going to tell you why and how, and we're going to get some things done here. Oh, Lord, I'm going to choke on that tea. Oh my gosh. What kind of luck do I have? What happened to the tea bag? Lord, why'd you do that? I need like a tea strainer. No, Lord. Oh, drinking the tea, spilling the tea. It's not for everybody. Okay, so here we go here. Okay, so the first suitcase case. You may have heard about this spoiled ass teenager. Spoiled ass Heather Mack. Ring a bell? A spoiled ass teenager who had everything, but that just wasn't good enough for her, right? You know, you have everything handed to you, you're treated like a princess, but, you know, not good enough. You need to be a raging fucking twat. And so, this is the story, and it happened in 2014. This is the story of Heather Mack. Okay, so her mom, Sheila Von Wise Mack, was a socialite. She was married to a handsome dude, and he was a jazz composer named James Mack. So James and Sheila had a beautiful house. He's a composer. They've got a lot of money, and they have a daughter, and they name her Heather. And Heather was everything to them. They doted on her. She was their baby. Everything was perfect until they went on vacation when Heather was just 10 years old. Her dad got sick on vacation and, in fact, died on vacation. She was 10 years old, and he was dead of colon cancer. He left her a $1.5 million trust. That trust became the kiss of death. I mean, you couldn't dote on this daughter enough. She was loved and she was loved and she was loved. She was a daddy's girl, okay? When daddy dies, age of 10, rocked her fucking world. Well, there are ways to deal with that, but the way that it was being dealt with was problematic at best. Once the dad died, according to her, she says that her mom became this alcoholic and had multiple personality disorder and just didn't like Heather for the way that Heather was. She wanted Heather to be something else. And she tried to force Heather to be who she wanted. And there's no proof of this. There's no proof of this, but can't ask the mom. She's not here. Sheila's sister is very vocal, and she speaks out. And she says on Crime Watch Daily that her sister didn't do any of these things. Her sister was not abusive. Her sister was doing the best she could to raise a bratty ass, spoiled twat of a daughter. That once the father died, the dynamic between the two was volatile. I mean, to put it mildly, okay? Now, when we look at this a little bit further, Heather says that their picture perfect family that looked so perfect that everybody thought was perfect was not. In fact, Heather says that she was a daddy's girl, and that made mommy jealous. So mommy would get so mad that she would take it out on Heather, the daughter. So then the daughter would tell daddy, and then both the daughter and the daddy would go and hit the mom. I don't think so. But that's her story, that's her defense. That's her story, and she's sticking to it, if you will. Okay? So she and her mom, she started stealing from her mom. She was accused of stealing. She was... some want to say she was a rebellious teen. Okay? Rebellious teen does not begin to describe what we're talking about here. I do believe that it is stated that, yes, that this picture perfect family, once the dad died, Heather continued to beat the mom, which she said that her dad used to do, right? The police came to that home, this beautiful home, this beautiful $1 million home, 80 times. So from when she was 10 to 19, it is reported that the police were there more than 80 times. More than 80 times. Heather would bite, push, everything, kick her mother. Okay? One time, she pushed her mother so hard that she pushed her down and her mom broke her arm. This teenager would steal the money and beat the shit out of her mother. And they're this $1 million family. They've got $1 million estate they're living in. Looks picture perfect. And you've got the cops coming more than 80 times over 8 to 9 years. I mean, you just think of that and you're like, what the hell? And it wasn't letting up. The sister, so the mom's the mom's sister, so the aunt, said that the mom was scared of what Heather would do. You know, I mean, and rightfully so. I mean, when does it end? You know, is it gonna, are you gonna get pushed so hard that the next time you're not gonna break your arm, you're gonna fall down the stairs and you're gonna die? I mean, how does it end once a child hits their mother? I think that that's a line that once it's crossed, I don't know that that bill can be unwrung. I really don't. In a desperate effort, the mom said, want to take you away. I want to take you away. Because, see, Heather got this boyfriend, Tommy Schaefer. Okay? Tommy Schaefer, not a good guy. Okay? Not terrible, but not good. He was raised by a single mom. Single mom just didn't have time for him, by all accounts. And he was troubled. He was dark. His friends would stop talking to him because he made up these lies, and these lies were just like creepy. Okay? So he starts dating Heather. And Sheila hates him. I mean, not even, I don't like your boyfriend. She fucking hated him. She was scared of him. Okay? So Sheila does what she thinks is best, and she's like, come on, sweetie. Let's just go. Let's fix this. Let's go on this incredible vacation. Let's go to Bali, you and I. Okay? Heather's 19 at this point. Mom drops $10,000 a ticket. $10,000 a ticket. So probably first class, right? Says, let's go. Let's go to Bali. Let's go to this beautiful place and let's fix our relationship. Her mom thought that if she took her down there and got her away from the boyfriend, away from any other influence, they could just talk and mend their relationship, right? And they were down there for about 2 weeks, and the pictures of them on vacation are beautiful. Of course, picture perfect family. How many times is that a repetitive theme in this crime community? Picture perfect family. Picture perfect. Everything they're doing looks perfect. They're in Indonesia. $10,000 a ticket. They're staying in a motel that's $1,000 a night. They're smiling. They're eating. They're happy. What could be wrong, right? They're there about 2 weeks. Staying there in the Nazdata St. Regis Hotel in Bali. Couldn't be more beautiful. They're down there about 2 weeks, and Mom gets this phone call. And she answers it. Hello? Hi, we just had Tommy Schaefer check in a different room with your credit card. Just wanted to let you know. Is that something you're expecting? Her mom was like, come again? What in the double fuck? Hangs up the phone, looks at her daughter. What the fuck? What the fuck? And the mom starts freaking out and was like, why do you have my credit card? What did you do? What did you do? Fight ensues, right? Well, they start fighting, and the daughter apparently says that she's pregnant with Tommy's baby, and they wanted to tell her. Two different versions on how this shit goes down. One person is not here to tell the other side of it, because less than 10 hours after Tommy Schaefer hit land in his $12,000 flight, his must not have been, scoped out and planned. 10 hours after he gets into Bali, that mother's dead. Yep. She's dead. Good old Tommy was seen on security camera with looked like a handle of a metal fruit bowl underneath the arm of his sweatshirt. It was kind of covered up. Apparently they bludgeoned her to death, and they shoved her in the suitcase. And here we go with suitcase number 1 in this shit that we've got to unpack here in our true crime community. So they are then seen on a security camera leaving that security room, or that hotel room, with the suitcase. And they go and they hail a taxi, and they put the luggage in the back of the taxi, and then each of them just yeet the fuck out of there. They just go. They just run. And the taxi driver's like, huh? Who left this suitcase? I don't know. So, the taxi driver goes about his day, and then he brings the suitcase to the police department. I don't know what he did that for. I mean, when you see pictures of it, you see blood on the outside of the suitcase, and I don't know if that was before or after. Her cause of death was asphyxiation on her own blood. She was bludgeoned to death, put and then shoved in the suitcase, and she choked on her own blood. That's what her ungrateful twat ass of a daughter did to her. That was her way of thanking her mother for taking her to Indonesia, for giving her an amazing life, having an amazing home, because she thought that if she killed her mother, then she could get her $1.5 million trust. And that's what she wanted. And if she had little Tommy help her, they'd have it together. But see, they weren't that smart. They needed somebody else to think for them. So they had asked a cousin. Now, see, Tommy wasn't in on all this. The way that he was is that he started dating Heather. And he texts his cousin, goes, you know what? This chick I'm dating's fucking crazy. She wants me to kill her mom. And the cousin's like, what the fuck? And he's like, yeah. Said, if I can find somebody to kill her mom for her, she'll give me $50,000. The cousin's like, well, that isn't, that's not anything to, look away from. I mean, that's good money, apparently, right? So, from that point forward, they couldn't find anybody to do the deed. So, once the mom said she wanted to take her daughter on vacation, the daughter started plotting on how to kill her down there, because if she kills her down there, comes back home, just says mom went missing. I don't know where my mom went. Comes home, who's going to know? It's Indonesia, it's Bali, right? You can lose your mom down there, right? In a suitcase. I don't think she thought all of it out, but she very much had intended on having her boyfriend come down and kill her. The texts between them are disgusting. Basically, the mom goes to sleep and Heather's like, okay, I've got to hit her first, and then if I hit her, will you come in and help me, and then start hitting her, and will you choke her? And Tommy's like, well, no, you got to hit her first, and she's like, well, I'm scared, she's gonna wake up if I do it. What do I do? They're going back and forth, and then finally she's like, okay, I can't do it by myself. You got to come in and do this. So that's when he comes in with that old fruit bowl handle that he got. Yep. They're still texting back and forth, and he's like, come on, you gotta do it. And so she just goes, finally, I can't do it. I'm just gonna hide in the bathroom. And then he's like, no, you hide in the bathroom, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, well, what do we do? Can we suffocate her together? I don't know. So ultimately, he comes in, he's got the thing, Heather goes and hides in the bathroom, and he bludgeons her. Then they both stuff her in that silver suitcase, send it on its way in a taxi. There you go. They both then were seen checking into another hotel without luggage. That's what gave it away. Here's this couple checking in with this credit card. Well, meanwhile, the police have this suitcase of this woman who they identify as this woman. So then they see this woman is checked in under this hotel. They look at the security footage. There's no suitcase. These people. So they are arrested. Well, Heather says, oh my gosh, it was this whole gang, and this whole gang kidnapped us and took us hostage, and then they killed my mom, and said if we said anything, they'd come and kill us too. We didn't know what to do. And the police were like, yeah, bullshit. Bullshit. Okay. So then, basically, because they're both U.S. citizens, and they're in Bali, this chick is facing a firing squad. Well, the U.S. says, hey, do what you're going to do. They went down there, they did this shit, you handle it. Firing squad or not. We're not going to go and save her and take the charges. You do what you want. Well, what they did is they convicted them. Tommy Schaefer did admit to bludgeoning the mother, and he received 18 years in prison, in which he is still serving. Heather was pregnant, was sentenced to 10 years. Okay? She served 7. She only served 7. There was huge media attention on this because you've got this spoiled American girl down in an Indonesian prison pregnant and whatnot. So, those stations like Inside Edition and whatnot, started going down there and whatnot, and trying to see how she is and everything. And to their surprise, they see her dancing, singing, having the time of her life, having social media with her daughter. This Indonesian prison thing that they show is like this one big room, and it has the moms with their kids because that's the way they do it down there. They're allowed to keep their babies with them, and their baby gets raised in the prison with the other moms, and it's kind of a communal living thing. And she was making the best of it. She was having the time of her life. She was in a lesbian relationship, rumored, allegedly. Don't come for me. So people are going, what the fuck? And these things are being, put up to the United States media going, so this little rich bitch is down there in Indonesia having the time of her life, bludgeoned her mom, is going to get out of prison for 7 years on good behavior, and it's going to come up and, in fact, get her $1.5 million trust fund and live her life. And the United States was like, yeah, fuck that. They were like, we let you do this, We thought you guys were kind of strict, the whole firing squad thing and everything. But if you're not going to do it, we're going to do it. So what they had done when she got released a year ago, to this date, what do you know? Lo and behold, it was November 3rd, 2021. Are we? Well, I think we're November 2nd today. Well, we're very close to the 1-year anniversary. I couldn't have planned this better. Okay, bombshell tonight. We are unpacking this suitcase. We are getting to the bottom of this. The USA went and took her out of Chicago O'Hare Airport. They said, hello, Heather. Welcome back to the United States. You are now charged with conspiracy to commit a foreign murder, charged with obstruction, and charged with conspiracy to commit murder on a U.S. national citizen. Heather Mack pleaded not guilty, and her trial will be in July of 2023. Her boyfriend, Tommy Schaefer, remains in prison down there, and we'll see what happens to him. Okay? So, when she came back, and with COVID and everything, blah, 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 and her hearing wasn't until 2023, she thought she was going to be free on bail. Well, the mother's family pleaded with the prosecutors and they agreed. And so she is in prison until she is held, without bond until the time of her trial in July 2023. Now, while she's been in prison, her defense now is that, she wanted Tommy to come down there and tell the mom that she was pregnant, and the mom grabbed a knife, and Heather asked Tommy for help because the mom was going to kill her, and so then Tommy killed the mom. So that's her defense. That's her story, and she's sticking to it. So now we're about to wrap up this, and we've unpacked this suitcase. There's one little thing we got to do before we zip up this suitcase. Okay? Tommy Schaefer's cousin. Tommy Schaefer's cousin did not just get one or two calls. He kind of facilitated things. He was kind of the brains of it all and kind of told them what they needed to do. According to the federal prosecutors in Chicago, they read all of the texts and they felt that he was indeed guilty of helping with the murder plot. And he did receive, his name is Robert Bibbs, Bibbs, and he is serving a 9-year sentence in Michigan. And he is guilty of coaching Heather and Tommy on how to carry out the murder for the $1.5 million trust fund. And he is eligible for parole 12/26 of 2024. So in 2 years, his first parole hearing will come up. Okay. Now there we go. That suitcase is done. There we go. Pack that away. Boom. Second high profile case. It's going to be in the media. You are going to see this if you guys have not seen this yet. I have talked about this before, and I don't know what happened to the video. I don't know if it got erased, if it got absorbed into the atmosphere, or otherwise. I don't know what happened, because when I first was talking, I was talking about Sarah Boone, the one who decided to play this twisted ass game of hide and seek with a suitcase. Have y'all heard of Sarah Boone? If not, you will. She is about to be on every single headline in the United States because she's one crazy bitch. Like I say, I'm a specialist in skanks that shouldn't have bred and other stories by Tabitha Jane. This is a skank that should not have bred. Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone, when you watch her in trial, you guys are going to just, it's going to be entertaining. Not as entertaining as Brooks was in the last couple of weeks. But this bitch is a twisted narcissist, and she will sit there and take any part of what somebody says and take one word out of it and sit there and obsess over that one word until the other person backs down. It's like verbal alligator wrestling. It is like nothing I've ever seen. She's a narcissist, of course, but a different variant of a narcissist. She's got a lot of things going on, and you're going to see this. Now, one Sarah Boone was born on 10/10 of 1977. Miss Sarah Boone just had a birthday. She had a birthday there in prison awaiting her sentence, didn't she? In jail then, because you're in jail till you get your sentence, right? Well, she got this boyfriend, George Torres Jr. His name is spelled George, like with a J. So it could be Jorge or it could be George. But she calls him George. They were the picture of domestic violence. She had a son from a previous marriage. She has a nice seeming ex-husband. She and her boyfriend, George, Jorge, he has a couple of baby mamas and has some other kids, ex-wives, kids that aren't he doesn't have custody of, causes a lot of fights, right? Well, it's not clear who was the victim in their fights. They both were arrested multiple times. She would go and get him out. He would go to his classes, blah, 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 blah. Sounds like there was a lot of mutual combat, but it sounds like he was arrested more. Sounds like alcohol was a huge problem. So he was going to his classes. She was helping him with it, blah, 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 blah. You know, a nice girlfriend is. So ultimately, they just decided that they couldn't fight anymore like they were. And so she decided at her address of 2500 Colonial Drive, Orlando, Florida, in her little apartment there that every neighbor there hates. And when you get bored and well, they'll probably show this in court TV, but her neighbors, like she goes to try and ask if she can use their toilet because they've got her apartment all crime scene out. And they're like, no, no, bitch, no. And everybody in that whole complex just freaking hates her. She's like the Karen of that neighborhood. You can tell. She decides that, you know what, her and George are going to have a nice quiet weekend and they're not going to fight and they're not going to drink except for wine. Like, wine doesn't count, right? Like, I mean, they had some wine, so what, right? And so she decides that they're going to have this really fun weekend. And what they're going to do, they've been dating 18 months at that time, right around 18 months. His family hated her. His family thinks she's the white devil, straight up. His family wants to kill her before she did anything too terrible, right? So she decided her son was at his dad's house for this Sunday night, and so she was going to do some painting and puzzles and just playing and not drinking, not getting drunk, but just some wine. They were going to paint. They were going to do puzzles. But then, so they were painting and doing puzzles because, you know, they weren't going to do any more fighting like that anymore. They were just having a good time. And you know, and he was playing with the dog and they were going to play. And she got the paints and stuff and they were painting and coloring. And then they wanted to play hide and seek. So her version of hide and seek was she put George in the suitcase. Okay? Well, she'd had maybe a little more wine than she thought. And she took her Ambien. She went upstairs to go to sleep. She wakes up. Here we go. According to the arrest warrant and the narrative here, we go into now this one says February 24th, whereas I have the date of arrest as 25. They must have arrested her the day after this narrative, because this narrative is on February 24th. Okay, so they arrested her the day after. At 13:01 hours, that would be 1:01 for you non-military folks, Orange County deputies responded to blah, 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 blah. Lane number 3, Winter Park, Florida, in reference to a female reporting that her boyfriend, George Torres Jr., was deceased. The caller, later identified as Sarah Boone, date of birth 10/10/1977, reported playing a game of hide and seek. Sarah and George jokingly thought it'd be funny if George got in the suitcase located in the living room. Sarah zipped George into the suitcase. Because that's the problem with the hide and seek. If you put the person in the hiding place, that's not seek. Like how you might have hidden the person, but you know where they're hiding, so it's not even hide. There is no hide and seek in this. I am telling you, this suitcase is just needing to be unpacked. And I'm trying to unpack it. But the hide and seek thing is not okay. There is no hide. There is no seek when you put the person in the suitcase. What are you going to do? Run around and close your eyes and count to 10 and then, forget that they're in the suitcase with yourself? No. This would have worked if he had, in fact, put himself in the suitcase. But he didn't. So, Sarah zipped George in the suitcase. Sarah mentioned that she and George had been consuming alcohol in the night, and she went upstairs and passed out in her bed. She later woke up to her cell phone ringing multiple times around 1100 hours. 11 o'clock. Sarah unzipped the suitcase and found George unresponsive and not breathing. Shortly after the 911 call, deputies arrived on the scene. Orange County Fire Department confirmed that George was in fact deceased at 1307 hours. Wait a second. Didn't she say that her phone was ringing at 11 o'clock? Well, why is the fire department not there until 2 hours and 7 minutes later? I'll tell you why. She went downstairs and did not see George anywhere in the apartment. She then realized he was possibly still in the suitcase. Sarah unzipped the suitcase and found George unresponsive and not breathing. Shortly after the 911 call, deputies arrived on the scene. Orange County Fire Department confirmed that George was in fact deceased at 1307 hours. The decedent was found laying near the front door of the residence near a blue suitcase. A small laceration was evident on the decedent's lip and what appeared to be some bruising around his eye. Now, the interview with Sarah Boone on February 24th, 2020 at 16:57 hours, so 4:57 hours on the 24th. Detective Scott Lowen and I conducted an audio recorded interview with Sarah Boone located at my unmarked agency's vehicle recorded statement. I read verbatim to Sarah her constitutional Miranda rights. Oh, wow. This department, when they question you, they give you your Miranda rights. Ooh, what kind of fancy schmancy department is this? And it's all redacted at that point. Okay, so we go down here. What I'm going to tell you is because I've watched other interviews and I know this. I've watched the full interrogations and whatnot. And I posted them on my community page and I'll do it again. They're very worth watching. The Crime Network, Law and Crime Network, shows the full interrogation with a female and a male investigator questioning her. I feel they did a good job. They were allowing her to speak, doing a lot of mm-hms, not giving any suggestive things, and they did not sexually massage her, as in said Watts case when the Tamburglar went and started a full body sexual massage on him during said interrogation. But Chris was most likely not Mirandized. We don't have any proof of it. Anyway, I digress. I watched. Sorry. So anyway, this was done properly. But what had happened when she started getting the phone calls, that was the dad, because he was saying, hey, you need to come and get the kid. I got to go to work. And she was like, oh, all right, let me get up. Oh, I don't know, maybe I got to take a shit and a piss. And I don't know, maybe do some makeup and maybe wig out my hair a little bit more. Maybe put my mullet out a little bit, make my hair, I don't know. She mumbled around, did something, right, for 2 hours. And she then, when she realized that George was in the suitcase still, she called her ex-husband, the one who'd been calling her. And she's like, I think that George is in the suitcase and he's not alive. And the ex-husband was like, you need to call 911. She's like, oh, you think I should call 911? Yes. So that's how, I saw that in another part of an interview. So now this bitch, when you see her, she's so defensive. She thinks that everything is wrong, that everybody has this wrong, that nothing happened. They were just playing and painting and having fun games like you do when you're 5, And she gives them her cell phone because they asked for it. And she had been recording all of the domestic violence events and ways in which she was claiming that she was a victim of said domestic violence. Now, in her Ambien wine stupor, she must have forgotten that she was taking videotape of George wanting out of said suitcase before she went up to bed and slept for several hours while he asphyxiated and died. So, after we get through the part that is not redacted, it begins here. This narrative begins as: on February 24th, 2020, Sarah gave verbal and written consent by signing a waivers and affidavits form for the Orange County Sheriff's Office to search her iPhone XS IMEI 35720 709 625 218. Digital forensic investigator Junella Udon responded to the scene and began to download the cell phone. While the cell phone was being downloaded, 2 videos were found on the cell phone. The first video began on February 24th, 2020 at 23:12 hours, and George was repeatedly yelling out Sarah's name. Sarah told George, "For everything you've done to me, fuck you." Sarah was laughing when she said, "Fuck you. Fuck you, stupid." George repeatedly kept calling out Sarah's name, and in the video you'll hear it, and he's like, "Sarah!" You see the suitcase over there, the suitcase is speaking. "Sarah! Sarah! Sarah! Sarah, can you get me out? Sarah!" And she's like, "Yeah, motherfucker, that's my name, don't wear that." She actually honestly says that. And so yeah, that's kind of what's going on. You guys will see these all over the headlines of next week. I'm just telling you. And George kept repeatedly calling out Sarah's name. And George says, "I can't fucking breathe, seriously." And Sarah replied, "Yeah, that's what you do when you choke me." George continued to repeat himself, telling Sarah he could not breathe. Sarah replied, "That's on you. That's what I feel like when you cheat on me," Sarah said. "You should probably shut the fuck up," she says to him. In this video, the suitcase was facing downward, and you can see George pushing on the suitcase in an attempt to get out. Oh yeah, the suitcase is like freaking jumping around and talking, right? The video is 2 minutes and 3 seconds long. The second video began recording on February 24th at 2020 hours, and George yelled out Sarah's name. The suitcase was now in a different position, facing upwards, and moved over towards the left side of the living room. And they redacted that. And they redacted the synopsis of the autopsy and the arrest affidavit. Oh, okay, that's where the Colonial Drive was. That was the police officer. I'm sorry, I misspoke. So the follow-up interview with Sarah Boone was on February 25th at approximately 1500 hours, 3 o'clock. Sarah drove herself to the Orange County Sheriff's Office located at 2500 West Colonial Drive, Orlando, Florida. That's the address I saw on the arrest report. That's where, okay, sorry about that. Detective Scott Lowen and I conducted an audio and video recorded interview with Sarah. The following is a synopsis of Sarah Boone's sworn recorded statement. And a lot of it is redacted, but this is then what is not. It says Sarah was informed she was not free to leave and under arrest, and Deputy Sheriff Lisa DeLeon responded to Central Operations to transport Sarah Boone to the BRC. Based off Sarah's inconsistent statements on what occurred and the video found on Sarah's iPhone, I believe the probable cause exists to charge Sarah Boone with second-degree murder. George Torres Jr. is dead, and his death was caused by Sarah Boone's criminal act. Sarah zipped George into the suitcase where he could not get out. George begged Sarah repeatedly, telling her he could not breathe, and Sarah left him in the suitcase. And this therefore proves the unlawful killing of George by Sarah's actions that were imminently dangerous and demonstrated a depraved mind without regard for George's life. That's a great summation. Very good, Deputy. I mean, what's she going to say? How is she going to... What's her defense? I mean, when in her interview, when she's being questioned and they talk about, you know, he has scratches on his back, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I was going to tell you guys about that. That's from us, you know, having sex. You know, we're kind of kinky." And they ask him about the bruises and everything. She's like, "Oh no, I did not touch it. We were getting along. Now, see, that's the thing. We were getting along. We were getting along, totally fine." So then over here, I'm looking at one of the arrest documents. Let me see here if I can find this one. Has Sarah Boone. Ooh, because that was in 20. So she was charged with battery with attempted strangulation. She tried to strangle this mofo before. Yes, she did. She was charged with battery with attempted strangulation. Well, who does she think she is? And she just doesn't know why this family hates her. Can't figure it out. She's such a freaking victim. Well, let's check this out here. Let's look at this narrative over here of this one. Let's check this out because it's gonna be we're gonna get the stuff before her defense even comes out. We're gonna find out that we're gonna figure out this case right here. Okay, so on 7/25 of 2018, so we are talking a year and a half before she took this poor man's life. One Sarah Catherine Boone had been arrested for. Oh, well, look at this. Okay, on July 25th, 2018, at 1:52 hours, Deputy Sheriff Zito, responded to Friends Lane number 3, Orlando, the Tealwood Park Apartments, in reference to a male that kicked a female in the eye. I later determined this to be an aggravated battery by strangulation and battery case, both being dating violence. Upon my arrival, I spoke to Sarah Catherine Boone, Defendant 1, Victim 2. Sarah verbally stated that she was at an unknown bar earlier in the evening when she asked an unknown male for a cigarette. Her boyfriend, George Torres, Defendant 2, Victim 1, of 1.5 years, became upset because she was talking to another man and left the bar. They both went back to their residence located at France Lane number 3 and continued verbally arguing. Sarah was dragged upstairs by George and she was kicked in her right eye with his right heel. Sarah was unable to describe how she fell to the ground or how she was dragged upstairs by George. Sarah refused medical treatment. Sarah refused to write a statement and or sign any dating violence paperwork. After I spoke to Sarah, I spoke to George. George verbally stated that they were both at their residence, verbally arguing, and had been consuming alcohol. They'd been dating for 1.5 years and residing together for 1.2 years. George attempted to go upstairs to avoid Sarah. While George was walking upstairs, Sarah reached towards George's throat using both of her hands, and Sarah put both of her hands around George's throat and applied pressure to the extent that George was having a difficult time breathing. George was sitting on the steps and started kicking towards Sarah in an attempt to get her off of him. George believes he might have kicked Sarah in her face but was not sure. George believed that if he did not kick Sarah off of him, she would have made him incapacitated due to being strangled. George refused medical treatment, and George also refused to write a statement and or sign any dating violence paperwork. Both Sarah and George stated they have been dating for approximately 1 year and 6 months and residing together for approximately 1 year and 2 months. Well, they agree on something. The left side of George's neck had red markings and small abrasions that is consistent with being strangled. Sarah's right eye is bruised and swollen from receiving an impact. Both Sarah and George allowed Deputy Sheriff Ramirez Delgado, badge number 8533, to take pictures of their injuries. Deputy Sheriff Ramirez Delgado later uploaded the pictures to DataWorks, whatever. Both Sarah and George received a victim's right booklet with my name and case number, along with a photo injunction referral. Due to conflicting statements and injuries on both Sarah and George, I was unable to determine who the primary aggressor was. I placed both George and Sarah under lawful arrest and searched George. Under lawful arrest and searched? And then it just doesn't say anything. George was placed in the backseat of my patrol car, and Sarah was placed in the backseat of Deputy Sheriff Ramirez Delgado's patrol car. I informed both Sarah and George the charges that are being placed against them, which they stated they understand. Due to both parties refusing to write statements and or signing any domestic violence documents, I was unable to complete a victim's request of confidentiality form, authorization for release of confidential information form, and written statements. Both parties stated they don't want to testify and or prosecute against each other. Both Sarah and George were transported to the Orange County Booking and Receiving Center. George was booked and charged for battery, dating violence, Florida Statute 784.03 TAC 15. Sarah was booked and charged for aggravated battery by strangulation, dating violence, Florida Statute 784.041 TAC 5. Both Sarah and George stated they do not own any firearms. My body-worn camera was activated. What do you say there? I mean, there's several of those. I don't have access to all of them, but they, in the interviews, they reference many of these similar situations, that this was just the domestic violence couple of the hood. I mean, like I say, none of their neighbors liked him. She said his family hated her, blah, 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 blah. She can't imagine why. And I can see both sides. I mean, what do you do when you got... I mean, thank God her son was not there when she did the little wicked hide and seek, right? They don't have kids together. He has kids from somebody else. She has kids from somebody else. Once a relationship goes physical, you need to stop. You need to get the fuck out of the relationship. It's the chances of it ever stopping are so low. And it is more likely going to escalate and end in something like this. Once it becomes toxic, there's no turning back. You gotta go. You just... I don't know. I mean, is our society so evolved with equal rights that people do just beat the shit out of each other? Is it now normal for kids to beat their moms? I don't know. I mean, these two cases that I've unpacked, these two suitcases right now, they just make you shake your freaking head, right? So we'll see Heather Mack's case this summer. Sarah Boone's case is going to go on now on Court TV. It will be the talk. It will be on every Google search, because Sarah Boone, like I say, I mean, she just sits there and verbally alligator wrestles everybody and everything. So you'll see her antics. I don't think she'll disappoint. She's a real piece of work. I can't imagine how she's survived in jail this long, because she's got a mouth. And I can't imagine that she's learned to shut it up enough. I imagine she's going to come into the trial all banged up from the other prison women beating her up. But maybe not. Maybe she put them in a suitcase. Who knows? Maybe she put them in the laundry bin. Now, folks, the consequence of all this drinking and fluids, I gotta run to the bathroom, and I need to get another Gatorade, and I can't drink this tea because it has too much tea things. So, allow me 120-second break. Okay? Grab something to drink. Go pee yourself. I'll be right back, I promise. Sorry to do this to you. back. Did you miss me? Daryl, I'm awesome because I think it was 120 seconds. I think I was right at the 2-minute mark. I need to find out what kind of software. If you guys know, put it in my comments, please. Or email me. You guys can always email me at tabithajane0@gmail.com. I'm about 2 months behind in all my emails, so be kind to me. It takes me a while because I like to give individual attention to every single comment and every single email. I have to be in the right frame of mind. And I'm so tired right now that if I start to try to read my emails, I fall asleep. I try to start writing back a comment and I'll wake up and thank God it hasn't been sent. It'll be all these Z's and whatnot. If I stop, I fall asleep. So know that I will answer you and I will email you back. It might take a little while. I'm going to take my Mucinex and Tylenol while we're at it. Some Ventolin. But anyway, the kind of stuff, they have, these creators show, these haunted houses and Halloweens. They've got all these things. But then they have, this thing, and it's oh, I've got my drink. I've got this. They have this countdown to when the creator starts. And maybe I can make one for when I need to pee. Have a big countdown, tell everybody else, hey, go get a drink. Go pee yourself. Well, don't piss yourself, but you know what I mean. Okay, did this frickin' other Dollar Tree thing just die too? Yes, it did. And I just suck at giving you guys visuals tonight. I suck. I'm sorry. What can I put that's pretty over there? You guys liked my roller skate purse, didn't you? Gosh, I'm a lot of Halloween things that light up. The little batteries that go in those things that light up just don't last very long. I expect Dollar Tree things to last forever. Well, I'm looking around here. It doesn't have to be blank. I hope you guys are just listening. Do you guys do that? Do you guys listen to me while you guys are falling asleep? Do I put you to sleep? Oh, hi, boo-boo. I like to listen to other creators' lives when I'm going to sleep. Like lives that of people that don't piss me off. Just people who are just beefing with each other and have fights existing with this one and that one for how long. That was nice, boo-boo. I like to just hear people talk at night. So I'll turn on just a live that's 3 or 5 hours or whatever. And I just listen to them talk and it puts me to sleep, and then I'll wake up, and because I've got my sleep headphones, I've talked to you guys all about that. Now the sleep headphones are pretty popular. There's the ones I just got, they're just this brand from Japan called Enjoying, and they have ads out, probably because I've talked about them or I just bought them, but they're $24, the sleep headphones, and this one works really good. The charger on it's better, and you have your choice between gray and black. And Boo Boo's needed another hug. Boo Boo, I love you so much. I wish people could just watch you, huh? I gotta make it so that people can just watch you. Do you guys kiss your cats? I heard that somebody else got a TikTok. They were kiss your cat and see what it does. I kiss my cats 1,000,000 times a day. I love you so much. Dude, want to sit down with Mama? Want to sit down on Mama's feet? He's mad because he wants me to lay down, because he likes to lay down on me, and then he puts his tail around my arm like he's like a lemur monkey. So he knows if I get up. When he was a kitten, he slept on my face. So he sleeps just on, I'll sleep on my side and he'll sleep on my side. So from my ribs to my hips, and then his tail around my hand or arm. You're a good baby. You're She's a good baby. Yeah, soon we'll set it up and you guys can just watch Boo. Boo's very entertaining. He thinks. Guys, don't you, Boo? Don't you? I sure do. I sure do. Okay, so the last suitcase we have to unpack. Grab your notepad because we need to do something here. This case is not getting the attention it deserves and is pissing me the fuck off. And it has to stop. Okay? Okay, so this case is about this sweet baby boy. And he's called Suitcase Boy. Want to know why? Because his dumb fucking hooker ass of a hooker, roving hooker, skank ass hooker bitch. I really spaz out about this bitch. And she's on the run. Okay? Her lesbian lover, her duo in the roving hooker mobile, has been arrested so far. But his mother has not. And we need to do something about that. I put up the mother's arrest, last booking picture, and the information for her arrest. And I want every single one of you to share it on your community page, on your Facebooks, wherever. We need to get this bitch behind bars because what she did is disgusting. This nasty, nasty bitch. Nasty bitch. Named Dujon Ludi Anderson, 37 years old, out of Atlanta. Well, she decided that there was a full-grown ass demon inside of her 5-year-old. Yeah. So she was going around trying to find somebody to perform an exorcism, and she, basically stated that she found out, the information, and that, her son is this several hundred-year-old demon, and found his name and everything. So her and her lesbian lover would go to all these cities because they were prostitutes in these major cities, and they had little Cairo Amar Jordan, and they felt that he was a demon, and it was their prerogative to exorcise him, and they mistreated him terribly. They both are batshit crazy. Both said that they needed to do these sacrificing rituals and whatnot because of the demon inside of him. So, they're both off their fucking rockers. So, tweaking hookers, going from city to city. Ultimately, it looks like he got sick. He had a viral gastroenteritis, according to the autopsy. And he died of dehydration. They put his body in a suitcase and threw the suitcase in the middle of a cornfield in the middle of nowhere. Suitcase was found by a man. No one had reported this boy missing. This was back in April 16th, when the suitcase was found with a sweet little boy inside. And the man who found him is just shaken up, and nobody was missing this boy. He didn't fit the profiles of any missing child on the national and exploited websites. Nothing. They had him, so they had his fingerprints inside of the suitcase. They had him, and it nothing matched. They couldn't find out who's this boy, so they didn't know. So basically, the community said that he's their little boy, and they got enough donations, and they made a beautiful headstone for him, and the headstone read, "This boy is known only to God." And it's just so sad because he wasn't loved and he wasn't missed. And who's talking about this? Nobody. This happened in April. Now, last week, they finally put out the arrest warrants for the 2 crack whores, and they arrested the one. Okay? The mom is still on the loose. Once this has happened, because it still bothered me, the gravestone, I reached out to another creator to find out because this other creator was talking about this, and I shared their because they did a great presentation on it. I think Deets on the Streets did it, and I put it on my community page. They did a beautiful job with this. I'm not talented; I can't do anything, so you'll have to look at theirs, for more of a visual. But they had a little bit more information, and I asked them if the headstone had indeed been updated since they were able to find out this little boy's name, and she had heard that it had been updated, and that's good news to me, so that he is named. To consider a child a demon is disgusting when you're a roving whore from city to city. I mean, these bitches. So my problem here in unpacking this suitcase is that I don't want this boy to be known as Suitcase Boy. And I don't want the other high profile suitcase murders to forget him. Do you know what I mean? I don't want his story to get buried in this. Right now, his mother needs to be arrested and charged for what she did so that there is some form of justice. Not that it matters. He's already gone. He's in a better place, right? But his mother has no right to be out being free. Horrible person. And so what I wish would happen is I wish all of these creators who have all this money and all these people sending them money, why aren't they out trying to find Dujon Ludi Anderson? Why aren't they going out trying to find justice for this little boy who was thrown into a suitcase into a field in the middle of nowhere? Where are they? Why is it that there's all this attention towards one high profile case? What's the difference? Quentin is 20 months old. Cairo was 5 years old. Is it a difference in age? Is that what's doing it? Or is it that there's all of this in the headlines about Quentin and there's nothing in the headlines about Cairo? I think it's the latter. So if these creators that are out there on the street protesting, what are they protesting? About child abuse? Well, why aren't they going and spreading the word about Cairo Amar Jordan, the little boy thrown away, was never reported missing, that was called a full-grown demon in a child's body when he was alive? And his mother is currently evading arrest? Why don't they go and find the mother? Why don't they go and they spread out with all of their resources and all of the money that they have, their boots on the ground, their heels in the air, whatever the fuck they think they are? Because now all of them are joining together. It is like the 8th sign of the apocalypse. I mean, the original Camel Toe herself is going into that shit fest, and it's going to have every single white trash from every corner of the country and their enemies and their allies conglomerating, pretending to give a shit about Quentin. Because if their true cause is about justice, what is standing outside putting all of this money into hotels and airfare doing towards the overall cause? Is that going to change anything? Like I said, if they banded together and they created a movement and went and protested outside of Child Protective Services and forced Child Protective Services to come out with an operating budget saying what they need and why they continue to fail to do their job, they might be doing something relevant with the money given to them. But they're not. So right now, please, I have unpacked this luggage. I am on the 3rd suitcase, and we need to find this bitch. Share her mugshot. Share her arrest warrant. Get this bitch behind bars. And for every creator that's out there showing such favoritism towards one little boy, ask why the other one doesn't get equal treatment. I would love for them to tell you why. I would love to know why why Cairo Amar Jordan is not a name that isn't in every single household right now. I would love to know, because it should be big news that his body was thrown into a cornfield and now is identified, and now there's a name on the headboard, on his headboard, not headboard but headstone. That it should be, news across the nation that his mother is evading arrest, and his mother claimed that he was a full-grown demon in the body of a child. Let me read some of this shit. Wait till you hear it. So here's how we go. Okay? So, in the Circuit Court of Washington County, state of Indiana, filed on October 14th, 2022, so just a few weeks ago, the arrest warrant for Dawn Elaine Coleman of Shreveport, Louisiana, date of birth 3/11/82. That bitch is 40? She 40? Probable cause for arrest, affidavit for arrest. So they believe on the facts and information and constituting probable cause set as forth follows. On April 16th, 2022, Detective Matt Busick was assigned to lead a death investigation in the Pekin area of Washington County, Indiana. On the evening of Saturday, April 16th, 2022, Jeffrey Meredith called 911 and reported finding the body of a young black male child in a suitcase in the woods off Holder Road in southeastern Washington County. Meredith stated that he was mushroom hunting on his property located on the south side of the road and had crossed over to the property that runs along the north side of Holder Road. Holder Road is a dead-end road. However, the road is not marked as a dead end. This dude's out shroom hunting on his property, stumbles upon this suitcase. The suitcase, was thrown all over the headlines. It was very colorful. It was one of those ones that says "Welcome to Las Vegas." It has the Vegas sign. So you can just picture it. It's like we got the reds and blues and the yellow and the suitcase. I think it was a roll-on, carry-on, and it said "Welcome to Las Vegas." So when Meredith saw the suitcase, which was not covered and could be viewed from the roadway, he approached it and opened it. Inside, he located a pillow on a closed black trash bag. He ripped open the trash bag and found what he described as being a young black male child. Washington County Deputy Matt Hine was the first to arrive at the scene and approached and manipulated the suitcase and trash bag to confirm that it contained the body of a young black male child. I arrived on scene at approximately 9:40 and was briefed by Sergeant David Mitchell and walked around to the east side of the scene to view the suitcase. Gosh, side note here by Tabitha Jane. Can you imagine? I mean, I am a dumpster diver. You all know that. I am a scrounging person. I find things and I look in them, and can you imagine if you found a dead baby? And this man is not the same. He's been the sweetest man. He's just very down to earth, and he's so upset. He feels he loves that child more than his mom did, I don't think the dad knew that he had a child. From the sounds of it, doesn't sound like the dad was an active part of their life at all. And this man is torn up. I don't think I'd ever be the same. I don't think so. All right, back over here. And I like the way that this arrest affidavit is. They have it all in bullet points, and it's really easy to kind of see the way the case goes. I like it. I then spoke with a resident who lives on Holder Road. His residence is covered by video security with one camera focused on the end of his driveway, which also captures a portion of Holder Road below his home, closer to the area where the suitcase was discovered. He voluntarily gave us the hard drive to the security system. Oh, we got a little neighbor mate here, huh? Oh. After the scene was photographed, the suitcase was closed and placed into a bag supplied by the Washington County coroner. The bag was secured and transported to the Washington County coroner's office at approximately 12:10 on April 17, 2022. On April 19th, an autopsy was conducted of the unidentified male child. On April 19th, Indiana State Police lab analysts transported the black trash bags located within the suitcase to the state lab for fingerprint testing and analysis. On June 29th, what the fuck? It had taken, here I am saying how nice you guys did with this bullet point, and it took you three months and 10 days later, they were contacted by Mallory Webb, Indiana State Police forensic scientist, who stated that she had obtained a fingerprint match from 2 of the trash bags located in the suitcase. Okay. This bitch has long been in the system. Has multiple arrests. There is no way that it should have taken 3 months and 10 days to find a match. What the? All right. The match came back as one Dujain Ludi Anderson, Georgia driver's license and address of 966 Westmoreland Circle Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia 30318, TAC 4019, date of birth 9/21/1985. Last 4 of the social security numbers are 5779. So if y'all want to go and protest that next, her home again is located in Georgia, 966 Westmoreland Circle Northwest. On July 25th, 22, I was contacted by Mallory Webb, the one that took 3 months and 10 days, who said that she'd obtained a second fingerprint match from the black trash bag located in the suitcase. 3 days later, well, she's on top of things like never before. The match came back to Dawn Elaine Coleman, Louisiana driver's license, blah, blah, blah. And she's from Shreveport, Louisiana. Date of birth 3/11/82. Last 4 of her social security number 4418. After receiving confirmation of the first fingerprint match on June 29, 2022, I began to investigate Dejan Anderson. And I don't know if I'm saying that right. It is Dejaune Anderson. Dejan. I don't care because this bitch is horrible. It was discovered that Dejan Anderson, who is the owner of Ashley Logistics Corporation with a listed business address of 1445 Woodmont Lane, 2585 Georgia, zip of 30318, owner of Ashley Logistics. What is that, folks? What is Ashley Logistics? Sounds kind of glass houses here. Let me see here. Ashley Logistics. Somebody who is smarter than me, find out what that is. Ashley Logistics Corporation. Because these two have multiple arrests for prostitution. Allegedly. Don't come for me. I want to know what this comes back and what kind of a business this is. They have some kind of little scrapbooking business on the side. Huh? What you doing? So the Georgia Corporations Division lists the registered address for Ashley Logistics Corporation as Dejan Anderson with a physical address of 1445 Woodmont Lane, which I've got written down now. Once I write it down, And Dejan Anderson is listed as the CEO. Oh, Dejane here. She is the CEO. She is the CEO. And child victim number 1 is listed as the secretary of the business. Oh, so poor sweet little Cairo, who she states has a demon inside of him, is the secretary for this business sounds really seriously legit. So, on March 12th, 2022, Dijon Anderson was arrested by the South Carolina Highway Patrol. Anderson was, okay, now let's put this in perspective here because now we are talking about something a little bit different. This is 1 month before he was found. This is 1 month and 4 days before he was found. Okay, so he was supposedly alive. Now, when I had talked about this case earlier, I misspoke in saying that she must have had him in the suitcase unalive, like Casey Anthony. But now that I have been able to access these records here and see it in bullet point, it breaks it down for me. And I realize I was error in my reporting, and I am sorry. Oh, I'm not a professional at all. So, a month before, we have to assume, okay, because here we go. It goes on March 12th, 2022, Dijon Anderson was arrested by the South Carolina Highway Patrol. Anderson was charged with child endangerment, so child was alive. Child endangerment, speeding over 25 miles an hour, failure to stop for blue lights. So she saw the cop and she's like, I am taking my chances. Woo, we're going for a ride. Okay. South Carolina Highway Patrol attempted to stop Anderson for driving 92 in a 60-mile-an-hour zone. Anderson did not stop and proceeded to lead troopers on a pursuit, lasting approximately 30 miles before she ran out of gas. Note to self: if you are planning on having a high-speed pursuit, always make sure that you have a full tank of gas, because this is just embarrassing right now. And so she's all in this hot shit pursuit, and she runs out of gas. Anderson was driving a 2019 Dodge Challenger. Okay, do you know what? Shit, if I was driving a Dodge Challenger, I'd take my chances too, man. I'd be like, let's go, let's get these ponies running. I really would. This is why I don't own a Challenger, because I get some freaking cockamamie idea like that. But I would make sure I had gas, or else I'd just pull over. But anyway, a Dodge Challenger bearing the Georgia plate CSH 7991, returning to her business, Ashley Logistics Corporation. Oh, well, I want to put this so we can help find her car too, because we need to do this. We've got to solve this mystery here. Get my Scooby-Doo mobile and everything. Because I'm going to figure this out. Georgia plate CSH 7991. That's a lot of things in one license plate. All right. So she's returning to her business. So she's like, you know what, bitches? I'm going to go to my business. So she turns in, and the vehicle was with Anderson was also Dawn Elaine Coleman as the other crazy bitch in this duo. Date of birth 3/11/82, and a child that Anderson stated was her 5-year-old son by the name of, and that's redacted, but we know it was Cairo, and gave his birth of redacted. Anderson stated Coleman was her sister. Oh, well, in other things it says they're lesbians. Oh, is it some incest shit? Oh, Lord. Incest and demons. What is the world coming to? When the vehicle came to a stop, neither Anderson nor Coleman listened to commands and would not open the doors. Well, they're like, get my ass out, huh? Troopers had to breach the back driver's side window to make entry to the vehicle. They're not making anything easy. Coleman was transported with the child to Hilton Hotel and given information on how to contact Anderson, who was transported to the Colleton County Jail? What? 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 I thought that if you're in a vehicle that is in a high-speed pursuit, that you are charged with it. No? And in fact, they take you to the Hilton? What kind of frickin'... be lucky to go to a Red Roof Inn if you did something like that. The Hilton? Oh my God. Okay. Well, on March 31st, Dijon Anderson was arrested by the Louisville Metro Police Department for robbery. Second degree outside of Von Mauer at the Oxmoor Mall, located at 7900 Shelby Road in Louisville, Jefferson County, Kentucky. Side note here, Von Mauer is an upscale department store. If Nordstrom and, Nordstrom and Saks had a baby? No, it's not that high end. It's more of like a family owned, but they have a lot of the brands and it's very brightly lit. Their stores, they're few and far between, but they've got a lot of beautiful Brahmin handbags, and I'm a Brahmin kind of girl. I just think that they are just works of art and a highly underappreciated handbag. Not all luxury stores carry Brahmin. Not all I'm just not saying the word. A luxury store, I guess, would be like Louis Vuitton and whatnot, but like not all Nordstroms carry Brahmin. Macy's carries Brahmin, but I don't know. I mean, Von Maur has some really nice stuff, but it doesn't have like the really obnoxiously expensive stuff like Saks does. So I don't know. It's kind of like an East Coast kind of chain, I think. I've only seen one. So anyway, she was going shoplifting there, and she got arrested. Well, hold on. How did she get out of jail from this high-speed chase? Because, okay, look at this. What'd she do? They take the sister to the Hilton, and then what? Do they just go and take her name and stuff, and then, because that high-speed chase happened on March 12th, and then on March 31st, here she is shoplifting. So, what? Where did you go in between here? Just in jail? And then you get out and do some shoplifting and then go back to the Hilton? What the fuck? All right, so anyway. On March 31st, Dijon Anderson was arrested by the Louisville Metro Police Department for robbery in the second degree outside of Von Mauer at the Oxmoor Mall, located at 7900 Shelbyville Road in Louisville, Kentucky. The report states that during this incident, Anderson was stopped by mall security when she exited the store due to loss prevention, witnessing her concealing clothing items in a bag. When stopped, Anderson became violent and punched the security officer in the face. What? Oh. Well, you're one bold bitch. You just got out of jail 10 days before for your big high speed. What? And you go trying to shoplift at the Von Maur? What? You punched the security officer in the face? Woman? While in custody at the Jefferson County, Kentucky jail, Anderson made 2 calls to a woman who is believed to be Dawn Coleman. Coleman told Anderson, "We are okay, and we'll be staying at her cousin's by the name of Vera." All right, I'm going to write this down because I'm going to have to be the bounty hunter here. I'm trying to fight the COVID and figure out where this bitch is because I don't appreciate what she did at all. Hey, boo-boo. What you doing? You want to be my Scooby-Doo? You want a Scooby treat? You go on a mystery? Go find somebody? I know you want good night-night. I know you do. I love you, boo-boo. Okay, I gotta stop making love to boo-boo. Alright, so, while in custody at the Jefferson County, Kentucky jail, Okay, she got Cousin Vera written down. In the course of this investigation, I obtained search warrants for the Facebook accounts utilized by Dijon Anderson and Don Coleman. So they can get a warrant for your Facebook account? Like while you're still using it? Oh my god. I better go and scrub some stuff out of my Facebook messages. Oh, goodness sakes. I didn't know this. Oh, goodness. So they got. I'm trying to figure out how this goes because who do they call? Do they call Zuckerberg himself and be like, hey, can we like look in this Facebook account? Zuckerberg's like, yeah, what do you want to see? So on or about December 5th, 2021. Okay. So they're going way back. They're going in the way back machine here. Not really, because that's a different thing. But so they go into this Facebook account, and Dijon sent the following message on her Facebook account. Thezon Michelle with the vanity name Katu Katu. So it's TheSonY Michelle. So like Thezani Michelle or the Sony Michelle with the vanity name Katu Katu. I didn't know you had a vanity name for your Facebook. So it's Katu Katu, Katu Katu. And it says, my son is named, and it's blanked, child victim number 1. So we now know that's Cairo. My son is named Cairo. On or about December 5th, Dijon Anderson sent the following messages on her account. These on Michelle with the vanity name Katu Katu, and she said, here we go, folks, here we go. I offer reversal spell, protection spell, activating your DNA, exorcism, hex, and curse. On or about January 5th, 2022, Dawn Coleman made the following post on her Facebook account, Ankh Bella number 7, with the vanity name Ankh Kek, Ankhkek. And she says, you ready? I'm using my blood for this ritual. On or about February 19th, 2022, Dijon Anderson made the following posted in the following status in her Facebook account, Thezon Michelle with the vanity name Katu Katu. And she says, here she goes. Ready? Can't wait to tell my story. I had to raise my frequency, heal myself and past lives, heal my ancestors, heal shit from in the universe, heal Gaia to exorcism, a very powerful demonic force within my son. Had people enough alignment with their soul to assist me. Still, I chose my soul and was able to completely heal myself and remove old paradigms from my mind. I know you can choose your soul with no questions asked. Say what? You crazy bitch. Weirdo. Anyway. On or about March 15th, Dijon Anderson made the following post on her Facebook account. Thezon Michelle with the vanity name Katu Katu. Stop getting caught up in the vessels of this realm. You guys get caught up with how old the body is, if they adult and kids, etc. Don't even know it's a full-grown demon in the body telling you what to do because you didn't choose your soul. Better start using your third eye. On or about March 18th, 2022, Dijon Anderson made the following post on her Facebook account, Thezon Michelle, the vanity name Katu Katu. You have to use your magic, with a K, for everything. We have transitioned to living in the now. If you still have trauma that is unhealed, you are creating resistance for us that is healed. Fuck with your frequency. Stop this low vibrational movement. On or about March 18th, Dijon Anderson made the following post on her Facebook account under Thezon Michelle with the vanity name Katu Katu. Can't wait to tell this story about that exorcism, a book about living with a demonic child, and a podcast. Fuck your poke. On or about April 4th, 2022, Dawn Coleman made the following post on her account, AnkBella7 with the vanity name Aunt Kick. Don't let the avatars fool you. There is a face under it. You need to see some souls, and some have souls and some don't. Don't let the avatars fool you. There is a face under it. You need to see some have souls and some don't. Evil and wicked is hiding in plain sight. Must keep rising, AKMG. What? On or about April 8th, 2022, Dawn Coleman made the following post on her Facebook account, AnkBella7 with the vanity name Ankh Kek. Just because the avatar is of what we call a child does not mean that it is actually a child. There are beings that are here that are not supposed to be here, that pick avatars to hide behind, to play roles, to steal energy, and to ruin lives. You better check to see if the children you think are children actually have souls, or if they're not malevolent beings with a soul in a child avatar. Magic is real, curses are real, and there are some very powerful evil beings there that will curse your womb and then some. Nothing is what it seems, and we are catering to evil beings and children avatars that aren't even children. Y'all need to rise. Most of you won't even... Y'all need to rise. Most will be wiped out because of your demons, and this paradigm has no room for that. AKMG. Most of the children aren't really even really children at that, just in an avatar playing a character. And that last post was on April 10th, 2022. Now, on or about April 11th, 2022, Dijon Anderson was released from the Jefferson County, Kentucky jail. On or about April 11, 2022, Dijon Anderson made the following posts on her Facebook account, Deja Michelle with the vanity name Katu Katu. Just got out of jail, mission. Yes, had to do some healing and killing. April 12th, 2022. Dijon Anderson made the following updated status on her public Twitter account at Miss DJ with the vanity name Miss Desjardins. At FR Vince Lampert. Good day, sir. I need to speak with you urgently. I have survived the death attacks from my 5-year-old throughout the 5 years he's been alive. I have been able to weaken his powers through our blood. I have his real name, and he is 100 years old. Need assistance. I obtained a search warrant for AT&T for all historical cell phone data from the 2 cell phone numbers used by Dijon Anderson and Dawn Coleman. I determined that these 2 numbers were used by Anderson and Coleman based on prior arrest records, as well as an additional search warrant I obtained from Hilton Worldwide Holdings regarding their hotel reservations. Because when they're not in jail, they're in the Hilton. Why not, right? April 14, 2022, between approximately 4:30 p.m. to 5:15 p.m., the historical cell tower location data places Anderson and Coleman's phones in the area of Holder Road, Pekin, Indiana, Pekin, Indiana, where the suitcase was found with an unidentified child inside. April 14th, 2022. Video from the surveillance obtained from the resident of Holder Road shows a vehicle coming into view on Holder Road, Pekin, Indiana, at approximately 4:53 p.m. This vehicle appears to stop on Holder Road in the area where the suitcase was found with the unidentified child inside. The video does not show this vehicle continuing to the dead end area of Holder Road. On April 15th, Dijon Anderson made the following status in her public Facebook account using the vanity name Katu Katu. This is a whole demon in a child body. Why do you think she need a cigarette? Losing energy, huh? 64 years old in a child body. Was full of gifts and magical rights stronger than many of you because your frequency is not high enough. Start asking Spirit to reveal these things to you hiding behind a body. On April 16, 2022, the same day the police were alerted to the discovery of the suitcase and the unidentified child, Dijon Anderson's 2019 Dodge Challenger bearing Georgia plate CSH 7991 is captured by a River Lynx camera driving south on I-65, driving south on probably 165, or I said I-65, I'm assuming I-65, but wrong, over the bridge from Jefferson, Indiana to Louisville, Kentucky at approximately 8:16 p.m. A review of Dijon Anderson's public Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts shows pictures of a boy approximately 5 years of age that matches the pictures taken of the unidentified child during the autopsy. A review of Dawn Coleman's public Facebook and Instagram account shows pictures and videos of her with the same Las Vegas hard-sided suitcase that the unidentified male child was discovered in. Oh, man. On July 8th, 2022, with assistance from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, Agent Dan Sims, we were able to obtain a birth certificate for child victim number 1, listed under Georgia State File Number, blah, blah, blah. Child victim was born at the Northside Hospital, located in Atlanta, Georgia, county of Fulton. Child's victim's date of birth is listed as redacted, but I will tell you what his birthday is. His birthday... Oh my gosh, I had it written. It says birthday October, I believe his birthday is October 24th. And it was also the day or the day before where the other one was arrested. So he would have been 5. He was 5 when he was unalived. His 6th birthday would have been this October, so he was 5.5. It goes on and it says that the parents is Mother Dijon Ludi Anderson, and it says the father's name, and I'm not going to repeat that because I don't see that the father had anything to do with this. And that is the affidavit for arrest. Now, what I will tell you is that the other one, the Coleman, was arrested. So it's not showing where she was arrested at, but so that Donna Lane Coleman is going to be charged, or she is charged because she's in custody. She's going to be charged with, or she is charged with, neglect of a dependent resulting in death, a level 1 felony, and obstruction of justice, a level 6 felony. Now, what we don't know is where I need to find the mom's arrest warrant. And that's what I'm saying is I'm putting up her information so that if anybody knows where she is, they can call her in, because I don't think she should be among the free people living and enjoying things in her Dodge Challenger, treating a boy like a demon. I mean, why? I mean, it just sounds like such extreme mental illness. And like I said, there's such conflicting things in the information about this story. You hear things and you hear about Suitcase Boy, but you don't hear the whole story. And I want to know why. Have you guys ever even heard of this story? Cairo Jordan should be a household name. And like I say, I have unloaded all of those suitcases. And like I say, I think that this luggage needs to go for all of the people that are standing outside making jackasses of themselves in front of Leilani's house. They should all go and try to find this bitch. Pack up this whole thing. Pack up this whole thing for me, because I unloaded 3 suitcases for you in this true crime edition by Tabitha Jane, and I would really like to wake up and find out that mother has been arrested. And I hope that all of you send up a little prayer to Cairo Amar Jordan, because he didn't have love in life, but he can have love now. And we have to believe that he is being loved. And once his mother is arrested, he will know that there were people that couldn't help him in life, but they helped him afterwards, and they gave him his name back. And thank you so much for listening. And I hope you all are doing well. And I will talk to you again soon. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.